POOT helped me envision being a different person and being in their footsteps and what they thought of, and really knowing how it felt to be, live back then.
Having to honestly look from a point of view of somebody else is a lot more difficult than you think, and not putting in any of your own views becomes really difficult at times. So it's a good skill to learn, and it's a good way to be impartial.
I couldn't just say, well, since she's a made-up character, I can just have her be like me, because it wouldn't have worked that way. It would have been too obvious, and it would have been a challenge. So when I had to come to researching, it would be asking me a question about art, or asking me a question of what I thought of Hitler, and actually what Camilla thought of Hitler. And then I would have to think, well, she's grown up in Norway, she's grown up under this society, under this government, and she works in this kind of industry, and here's how she would think about it.
I have a better imagination than I thought. It helped me realize that there's a couple steps you need to take while doing research, and that you can almost create a very seemingly real person almost out of thin air.
For historical characters and literary characters, you really had to look at what the characters have done, and if it was an author, what the author has done in their works, like common themes, common motifs, common characters.
Participating in POOT really boosted my research skills because it helped me find ways of learning information that I didn't know before. I could go on the internet and type in stuff, and if you added just a little more of what you wanted to know, it would bring up a whole bunch of other results.
If you were a history character, you had to look into speeches that they made or actions that they've done. If they were the president, or if they were actually just some commoner. I
focused my research around a time period, whereas in the past I'd only specifically researched specific people, or I very rarely had to look at as an era of time and to sort of shape a person out of that. It sort of created a whole new field of research I had to become accustomed to and have an ability to utilize.
POOT helped me look up different sources online and then figure out what was happening with other people in those sources and what my character, Anne Boleyn, might think about those things.
You had to sort of apply them to a scenario that he never would have encountered in his real life, and I thought that was pretty unique, and that was something I'd not really had experience with before. And also, you sort of have to delve deep in order to get things that are actually more than just base information. Base information you can get on Wikipedia wasn't enough to be able to fully form opinions of your character that would actually be legitimate and respectable.
To try to explain it to other people might have been a little difficult, but you got through it and you could learn how to understand it. So when you're talking to somebody else, even if you don't agree with them, you could possibly see how through their eyes it could work.
When I would interact with people on the website simulation, if I did not know who they were, I would have to know to be able to fully have a dialogue with them. And I learned a lot about literature and history in general.
In order to respond to what they said, I had to know things about them. For example, there was one time where Alfred Nobel was saying that Hitler didn't deserve a second chance about something. And I said that the reason that he made the Nobel Prizes was because he felt that he deserved a second chance after creating dynamite. So in instances like that, POOT helped me learn more about influential people throughout history.
I didn't really take just one source. I had to look at multiple sources, and by looking at multiple sources you find out more information, but you also see if one answer that you get on one website was true or not. And it also taught you not just to look at websites but also in books, because some of the information you might not find on websites, but you actually have to check a written resource.
Now, when I research something, number one, I feel like I have to cite it, or else I feel like I'm stealing, or I just feel weird. And also, it makes me not believe the first thing that I see, because if it sounds like a cool fact, I definitely want it to be true, so then I go looking for it on other websites to see if it appears more than once. And if it does, and on credible websites, then I use it.